I'm here with GameFi Unleashed at Token2049, and we are here with John from Beamable. John, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
John, talk to us a little bit about your project. What are you guys doing to progress Web3 gaming?
So we're a gaming back-end technology. So when you build a game, there's a zillion things you got to build on the back end. Social systems, economic systems, multiplayer matchmaking, list goes on and on and on. And for years, game developers have just been building this for themselves over and over and over again. And they should be focusing on making a great game, like the features, the storytelling, the art, like that's how games add value. So we're kind of doing the boring part, but the very important part of building an online game, and that's what we do. So we have both Web 2 and Web 3 customers. We have some of the biggest Web 3 game studios out there, Mythical Games, Wildcard Alliance, Mystery Society, so some really, really big, prominent Web 3 games, as well as Web 2 games. And go ahead, yeah.
Well, I was going to say Web3 gaming is still kind of a niche. What are you seeing that projects are doing, and how are they utilizing Beamable to progress to the mainstream?
So one of the advantages we have is that we're not just Web 3, we're Web 2 and Web 3, because when you build any kind of game, there's a shared set of features that virtually any game needs. So multiplayer, matchmaking, social systems, chat, like those things don't really vary between a Web 2 or a Web 3 game. So we don't really believe in platforms that are just narrowly siloed on Web 3. Instead, we think it's important to bring a platform to bear that does everything you need for any kind of game and then has really great Web3 integration. So we partnered with a lot of layer ones to do just out-of-the-box blockchain integration, makes it super easy. You don't even need to think about your chain when you're building the game. You can kind of focus on the game, kind of kick the can down the road in terms of which specific chain you want to use. And if you even change your mind on chain, you just swap it around. So we make that really, really easy.
I imagine for developers that are very versed in Web 2 gaming that want to transition to Web 3 gaming, you guys are kind of a godsend from that perspective, where they don't have to learn about everything from how to build in the L1 or worry about how to operate on the blockchain. You guys take care of all that.
That's a really good observation. So I think if you look at the past few years of Web3 game development, you could kind of bucket developers in a couple of categories. One is people that know a lot about game development, but didn't really come into it understanding the technological aspects of blockchain, and they get so hung up on all the blockchain implementation aspects, sometimes they never even get to the point of building a great game. So we want to make that a lot easier for those people so that they focus on the gameplay and that whole blockchain part is automated for them. And then the other part is like people that know the technology and they're kind of learning how to do game development. That's sort of like not the best approach because you got to focus on the game from the ground up. And too many teams thought of themselves as like a tech team that is really good at blockchain and smart contract implementation. Frankly, there were 14,000 games launched on Steam last year. Most of them, unfortunately, will be forgotten. Like, games just have to be really, really good. This is a super hard business. The game has to be really fun. So you can't get caught up in anything that's going to distract from the core of making just a really great game.
Yeah, chain abstraction is such a big focus in crypto right now. And I think what's cool about what you guys are doing is everybody talks about chain abstraction for the end crypto user, but you guys are doing chain abstraction for the developers.
We're doing chain abstraction for the developers, and then beyond that, what we're launching is a DePIN project. So the other issue with back-end development is you're having to choose where to launch your servers. Like, is it going to be on Amazon? Is it going to be on my own hosted servers and whatnot? And a lot of game developers have taken unfortunate risks, frankly, on specific centralized providers. Like Amazon had a product called GameSparks. There were 2,000 games on GameSparks. Amazon decided they didn't want to do GameSparks anymore. 2,000 games basically were put out of business. So DePIN is a solution for this because you can aggregate all the different service providers. You don't really concern yourself anymore with where the capacity is coming from. You just focus on a good game with an interoperable technology layer that goes across all of these different platforms. So that's what we're doing next. We're launching that. We're in the process of launching it. We've got some articles online about our DePIN project, but we're taking our tech stack and putting it across all of the service providers that can add all the millions of servers that are needed to build the back end for games.
Well, thanks for breaking that down for us. We will look forward to seeing you guys thrive and grow in the future, and thanks for being a sponsor at GameFi Unleashed.
Yeah, thank you for having me here. It's great.